Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. I'm DJ Moises. Today, we're diving into one of Cebu's most ambitious initiatives yet, the Cebu Investment and Innovation Summit 2026, or CIIS 2026. This summit aims to attract investors, grow high value industries, and position Cebu as a competitive hub in Southeast Asia. With us today is Paulo Uy, a key figure behind the CIIS, who will also give us a closer look at what the summit hopes to achieve and, more importantly, how it will impact Cebu's businesses, workforce, and communities. So, good afternoon, Paulo, and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, DJ. Thank you for having me here.
And maybe you'd like to greet your
Yes.
friends.
Good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, co-capital public servants. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving us opportunity to expound about the Cebu International Investment Summit
International
2026.
Investment Summit 2026. I'll keep
Yes.
that in mind. Sige. But the good thing about this summit, the first time I heard about this, it's because it also came at a good time. It depends on how we look at it.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
So because it also comes with an interesting tagline. It's why Cebu and why now.
Now, yes.
So given the geopolitical risk that we are reading on the papers,
Yeah.
and without delving so much on Philippine politics,
Uh.
but given what's also happening in the country, why Cebu and why now?
All right. Very tough question. Okay. So let me put this into context that when the Governor Pambari Cuatro decided to run for governor, her goal is to help Cebu. And we know how we went through. But political aside, the governor has always been saying about colorless governance. So you will probably see people of different political background, but the main goal is to have a colorless governance. So therefore, we are here, work, and do what is good and what is best for the people of Cebu. Having said that, the context of why Cebu, why now is because there's so much political noise happening right now, and we would like to give a fresher breath in everything in the turmoil that we're seeing now, and really just focus on Cebu. Um, let's put it in a way that we want to market Cebu as an investment destination. At the end of the day, Cebu will always be part of the Philippines. We will always be affected by the noise, but we'd rather focus our energy in doing something that's really what's good for Cebu, for the people of Cebu, and not for anything else.
And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but I like what you said, if I captured it correctly, because the other way of looking at the situation now, of course, it's good that people would surface problems,
Yeah.
but to balance it, it's also good to have events that would surface solutions.
Yes,
No?
correct.
So
Exactly.
I like the objective. So
Yes.
so sige. Now going back to something global, no? Because a lot of regions and even cities are also competing for some
Yes.
global business now.
Yes,
So we,
yes.
of course, we have the NCR, but in the Visayas, we've also heard about wonderful stories about Iloilo, that's from the west, and also Ormoc and Tacloban in the east. No, so what will Cebu do differently this time to differentiate ourselves and make us look more competitive in
Yeah.
the global space?
Yeah, I think um, I think one thing that Cebu has never had before was that we have a new governor who's never been elected in any position before she became a governor. That's one thing. Second, she's not coming out of the ranks from political clans or politics. So and most of us, if as you can see, we're not really from politics as well. So we're all coming from the private sectors. We have different expertise, experiences, and knowledge base that we brought into the capital that has never been seen before. I'm not saying that we are the best of the best, but let's put it this way: that we
Different.
put in a different player in what you usually see in the government. I since I started working, I've been in the private sector, not until I became part of the capital, and I think and not just me, but there's a lot of us in capital right now who are really wanting to do something, and that is the reason why we joined the administration of our Governor Pam. It's because we have different skills, we have different qualities that if we work together, and we are, gives a better outlook for the province of Cebu. And yes, Iloilo, we know that infrastructure wise, they're really doing well. I hope there's uh, no ghost flood control project. But let's focus on the investment side. Cebu has been the center. It has been the center of trade and commerce outside Manila, and in fact, Cebu is geographically speaking, it's right at the heart of the Philippines. It's the middle, and it has been the number one destination in terms of tourism. We do know that we have problems with tourism right now, but Cebu is the center of it, and we would like to take advantage of that geographical location. And at the same time, outside Metro Manila, Cebu has always been the go-to, the destinations for business process outsourcing, which is really big here in Cebu, right? If we could support that industry as well, not just focus it in the province, in Metro Cebu, that will actually make a lot of difference for our people who are in the northernmost part or in the southernmost part of the island, which who are qualified, technically qualified, knowledgeable, but they couldn't just go to Metro Cebu. And the situation right now in the Metro Cebu, traffic, of course, the cost of living is going up. So that is actually the reason why we have this, because we wanted to promote Cebu as an investment destination, not only for the metropolis, not only for for the Metro Cebu, but we want to spread it out. And you will see very soon that we really walk the talk. So there will be more eco zones that will be launched, that will be opened, and behind the scene we're just working. So the past 6 months we've been working behind the scene. We don't what you see are just the noise, but there's so many things that have already been done under the radar, because we don't want people to disrupt, especially those with political motives, to disrupt our governance.
What I also find promising about the summit is also because it's inviting investors to
Yes.
attend, because the
Yes.
usual summit that I've seen is we have the players and the local ecosystem, but there's not much presence of international investors. So
Correct.
who in particular are what's the profile of the investors that we are inviting to this
Right,
summit?
right. So the the attendees, the participants are actually quite diverse. We have, yes, you're right, we have international visitors coming in. They're from the Middle East, from Taiwan, from China, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Korea, South Korea. Now, the I cannot give you the numbers yet completely, but these business people have been here before, but they couldn't see, or they haven't seen the opportunity. And that is why we brought in bright, individuals, different speakers from different diverse background, and you will actually see in the program later on that we created a story. We tried to create a story in the summit to show what Cebu can offer, what the kind of resilient people that we have, who really gets out of the rubble despite the economic turmoil that we went through. We see these people who really came out and came out stronger, and that's what we want to show to the investors, that you will never go wrong in investing in Cebu. Um, the especially to our people. I think Cebuanos are known to be very resilient, um, and we also speak our mind, and that is probably why Cebu will always come out in any things that you could see right now, whether it's politics or economics or anything else, because we really speak out our mind. We show to the world what we can, what Cebuanos are, what we stand for, and how we and how we love our dear province and our island. And what we are trying to do here is actually, aside from showing them what Cebu has, we're also going to show to them that there are so much opportunities here. And one of our economic champion, we are actually, me personally speaking, I am actually lucky, and I'm happy that I am working with brilliant minds like Dr. Brian To, um, the first gentleman, who is really very, someone you cannot discount when it comes to strategies, to talk about economics. He can talk anything under the sun, and he has so much. When I love talking, I talk a lot, but when I talk to him, I zip my mouth because I gain more. I learn a lot from him when he talks about economics and anything that we discuss. And that is also why we see that this as an opportunity to market Cebu. Cebu, everybody knows Cebu is the richest province in the country. Um, Not for anything else, but because Cebu has so much real estate properties, and we want to maximize that. And that is one also that we want to show, that there are several properties owned by the province that we can really maximize and use that for to benefit the province and the people of Cebu. We have the number one promise, the campaign promise that the governor of PAM, and she keeps on mentioning, that is the healthcare system, improving the healthcare system. So one way we want to generate the revenues that can also support that, and this bringing in investments, developing the province's real estate properties, that will definitely help the capital in the generation of the revenues. And I think that's what our foreign investors will really love to look at. And of course, other than the stability in our politics in Cebu, let's not talk about the country anymore. I mean, let's just focus on Cebu.
Yeah, you mentioned Dr. Brian. No? I've been to several of his classes, and I'm a fan of Dr. Brian. Hi, Dr. Brian, if you're watching. If you're not a fan anymore. Just kidding. But anyway, you've mentioned about the stories, no, that you want through the summit to, or Cebu wants
Yes,
through
yes.
the summit to put out in the global space, no.
Yes.
So can you walk us through on what exactly will happen
Yes.
on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4?
Yes, okay. So on day one, we will start in the afternoon. So registration will start in the morning, and until we start the event. We will usually start, we expect to start around 2 p.m. During the opening session, the governor will actually address Cebu, our investors, why Cebu, the governance that and the institutional change that she has put in place. And then we will talk about the PPP pipelines, the what Cebu is doing economically. And then Dr. Brian, this is actually very interesting because Dr. Brian will be talking about the situational analysis for Cebu. So he will touch, the strengths and weaknesses, and I'm sure our student in the business in who are taking up business courses will understand the SWOT analysis. But if you are watching, you should take note of this because this is a much bigger scope than the regular SWOT analysis. So
And actually, and how you explain it, it looks also like a good baselining
correct,
also
correct.
on
So
where
this
we are, no?
yes. So day one basically sets the tone of what the discussions will be on day two and day three. So day two will focus on governance and real economy. So we will talk about the sustainability, resiliency, and then Cebu as an investment destination, and then we will be talking about the manufacturing. We will talk about advanced manufacturing, micro manufacturing, and then we will also showcase how a design, when a design is made, whether it's a furniture or a jewelry, how you make a design and how it you translate that design into manufacturing, and how you manufacture this, because there are designs that are so complex that it takes time. And Cebu, at some point we were called the Milan of Asia, and because of the competition that's happening in Asia as well, from other countries, um, Cebuanos actually, our exporters actually became so innovative, and that's why even materials that are made of trash, it can were even made into furniture or accessories that can so that's where you will see. And then on day three we will be talking about market specific opportunities. So we will talk about tourism, lifestyle, and experience economy, and then we will talk about talent, education, and healthcare. We have that because number one concern when you invest, or when you do when you build your business, is, do you have the right talent, skilled workers that can work for you. And that is one issue that we're looking at, right? I mean, productivity is kind of low and we need to improve that. And lastly, there will be a special regulatory panel, and I think this is the first time that we're bringing in the forefront of government service. The Anti-Red Tape Act Authority, ARTA is joining us. BOI, we've requested BOI to join us as well. SEC is joining us. BOI is actually joining us. And then we have PEZA and TIESA. So why do we have this?
It's an all-star cast.
It is an all-star cast. ARTA, basically, there are watchdogs in bureaucratic red tape. So if the government is so slow, they're the ones who will really spank us. And then the BOI, we know that the BOI, when you have your business, you want to, of course, avail of the incentives, and that's where BOI comes in, PEZA and TIESA, and of course the SEC, because business registrations, they're the ones who are really an expert, and we want them to show also to our investors that it is now more than very easy. It will now take minutes to register a company, unlike before, which really takes 2 or 3 weeks, or sometimes even a month. We are working on a day 4 actually, but this is for business matching and investment tours. So we may have during the time there may be interest that will hopefully we build up interest that the investors would want to see the areas where they could actually invest and put their money in, to help with the development. So that's what we will do.
I'm I'm actually glad that there's also a part on ease of doing business, no?
Yes.
Because that's usually one of the factors that are highlighted why we lack foreign direct investments.
Correct.
But if done right, that's also going to be the driver why we will have more foreign direct investments.
Yes, and if I may add, we are actually working on right now wherein all the LGUs together with their investment promotions officers, we will gather them so that we can work with them, because our plan, we've already started the groundworks that there will be a one-stop shop. So if you're an investor, you come to Cebu, you come to the capital, you want to invest, you tell us what you need, you tell us what you want, we give us your documents, we will do the work for you. So you don't have to go to SEC, you don't have to go to BOI. Just submit to our office, and our office will do the legwork for you. And I'm sure that and
That
that
will
will
streamline the process.
exactly, and that will really cut the time um, very short, and because we know how the government works, so we could just pass on the documents to them.
The other thing also, as a business owner, no, that I'm interested is on day 4, which talks about business matching. No?
Yes.
How exactly will this be? No?
Yeah. So hopefully we build that interest during the first 3 days of talks, and say one of the investors are interested in economic zones development. So with the business matching, we can then match them with a local partner if they want. Then we can also bring in the other government offices like the BOI or PEZA, so they can have a sit down and discuss how to move forward. Or say we have an investor who is interested in manufacturing, we can then sit them with one of our speakers or some of the industry players already, and sit down and work if there is something that they can actually collaborate. That's so in the end, there were actually a lot of questions about, well, will this actually also transcend into benefits to our local businessmen.
Like employment.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
opportunities.
So number one, it will definitely complement, and there's actually huge opportunities for our local business people to collaborate with these investors. Second, in terms of employment opportunities, and that is why we brought in the tech book and the formal education side of it, so that they can also show to our investors that this is what they're doing, to make sure that there will be enough workforce, or there will be trained or skilled workforce that can work for the business or the industry. But if excuse me, if the industry that they want to work on doesn't exist yet, or it's still in the infancy stage of it, in the development, definitely our sector, the educational sector, can help them, because they can help them because they can actually develop curriculums that could complement the needs of that industry.
I have a vested interest, no,
Of
because
course.
I'm with Cebu IT BPM
Yes.
organization.
Yes,
no,
yes,
CIBDETO.
yes.
But where is that in the agenda?
All right.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way, that I put it in a way that it's purposeful, because BPO is already an industry that's already big in Cebu. And I mentioned earlier that there will be eco zones that we're working on that will be developed in the countryside. Because number one problem in the BPO, not that I know everything, but having played in that sector for a while, I know one of the problems is the attrition. You have very high attrition rate because employee A of company A goes to company B. Employee B of company B goes to company
Company C.
A,
Yeah.
or and it goes to company C, or that's why there's what we call as the hoppers, right? Not that it meant anything bad. I mean, of course.
It's bad.
Okay.
Just kidding. Okay, continue. Okay.
No, what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that our workers would always look for somewhere else that they feel accepted, they feel at home, and that they wanted a place where they could really work well. So it's kumbaga settle down. But then the thing is, on the other side of the spectrum, the reason why we have call center employees or BPO workers who really jump from one company to another, that's because of the opportunities that these BPOs have offered. And I'd like to look at it as a way that if there is opportunities for, there's so many opportunities but for fewer people, if we actually bring this to the countryside, do we have less opportunities but there are more people. And that is why we wanted to develop the north and the south, develop the eco zones. Look at most of the BPOs are working in the IT park
Cebu Business
and
Park.
Cebu Business Park,
Correct. Yeah.
and nothing much outside, right? And I know I've been talking to a lot of recruitment officers, and they've been like pulling their hair how to strategize, how to make the recruitment process palatable, and very
I don't have hair, but I'm not a recruitment officer.
okay.
Can we continue?
Yeah, but they even collaborate with senior high schools and hoping that they could train more, and this goes
Make them employable.
Yeah, make them employable. And when I went around the province, and I went to like in specifically Argao, and there's already a CNU there, and there's already support services that could really develop the talent and the skills that could really complement the needs of the BPO. But the question is, why there's no BPO there, right? Maybe there's one or two work sites, but it doesn't offer the convergence of different businesses that could support a BPO. And happy to know that in the next few weeks that will become a past, because there is something there that's being developed and worked at, and we are actively and seeking and actively supporting that to make that happen. And imagine you will have at least at the minimum that area where are looking at potentially 20 or 30,000 more people that are available immediately, because it's not just in Argao, right? It's from the
Danao,
the
north.
Argao, and also the north.
Yeah.
And the now that you mentioned about Danao, I mean, Danao has very strong presence in terms of manufacturing, right? I mean, Mitsumi spent billions to develop their site, and they are still growing, and they're the only ones there, right? But there are other industries, and I think if we can also develop that side of the province for another industry, that will definitely complement the now's Mitsumi, and develop that into a cohesive industries with other industries that can really make that place, the north of Cebu grow. Because after the now, literally, there's really nothing much, right? I mean, and that is why probably even with tourism, you see a lot of tourism sites, resorts, but other than that, there's really nothing much. I mean, we need to develop Cebu, not just for investment destination, but also for tourism as well. And I think you will see that later on, that investment and tourism will go hand in hand in promoting Cebu as a destination.
And this is also something that players in Cebu or the ecosystem would welcome,
Yeah.
the countryside development, because the reason why I also brought up the now, because a good number of our top performers are actually from the now.
Yeah.
So but some of them are working there, but some of them are also in office. So there really are quality talents that are available in different parts of the province.
Yes.
You've mentioned CNU, but I know there's also UV.
Yes.
There's also CTU.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And they have good presence.
Correct.
No, in the province. So that's a fertile source of human capital.
Yes. And we wanted to, Governor Pam really wants to see, She doesn't want slow workers. So she wants people in the capital to really uh, work right, do it right, so you don't have to repeat yourself. And this is really our commitment to the province, that this is an opportunity that is given to us. So let's not waste it. Develop Cebu as a prime province and develop Cebu to a level where it has never been seen before.
Now, speaking of slow,
Mhm.
Akoy, I'm glad because if we look at the coverage of the summit, there's the part of manufacturing, there's also tourism, and then there's also on education.
Yes.
And speaking of slow, this is something also that keeps me awake at night. No?
Yep.
And that's why I need coffee. No, just kidding. No, but the quality also of our talents, not just on the countryside, but even in cities, no?
Yes,
And
yes.
like Cebu. And if we look at statistics recently, we can see that there's really a decline in literacy. No?
Yes.
So while we can say that 93% are literate, pero if we look at kanang how many of them can actually read, write, and follow instructions, like filling out a form, it's only 70%. How will that also be potentially addressed in the education piece of the summit?
You know, that's actually alarming.
It is.
Yeah, and I don't have the perfect recipe to change that. But one thing that I can say is that the people that we brought in to talk about this are really decision makers. They're the one, they can really influence how the educational sector is being, how in general. We have Candice Gutianoy, who is the right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, forgive me, Ma'am Candice, if I say this right, but I believe she's the chancellor right now of the
University of
UC,
Cebu.
University of Cebu. And UC is one of the largest school network, and they have grown so much over the years. And to think this is actually, we could really say that they start from small, and and I think uh, they are one of the very few educational networks that I see that are really forward thinking, forward looking, and very flexible. When you talk when the renaissance, let me put it this way, when the renaissance of the maritime industry, UC was the very first one to step, and take the step, and it's a big leap. I mean, they invested so much, and look what happened. Cebu
And-
became one of the best source of maritime people. But then again, these are human capital export, right? We sent them out, and I think that's also one of the reason why Tunisia is here. Why we also have a thriving shipping industry, because we have talented maritime, well trained people. So those who don't want to go abroad, there's actually work here. And I think some one of the reasons why I'm saying this is because we have so many talented Cebuanos that are actually who decided or opted to go to outside the country because of the greener pasture, or maybe because of the lack of opportunity. And I think the investment summit will open, hopefully it will open that floodgate of opportunities that will be made available to the Cebuanos. And hopefully our Cebuanos who are right outside, who are hopefully you're listening, see the opportunity, and they would say, I think it's about time for me to go home, right? And that is why also we wanted to develop the SMEs. There's actually a different plan for that, so that those who are left behind by our OFWs could start something. so that later on, when it grows, well supported, our OFWs who've been outside the country for so long can actually say, maybe it's about time for me to go home, and while I'm back home, maybe look for another job opportunity, which they are skilled and that is right available here in Cebu. So that's a big dream. That's a big dream, but we have to start somewhere. And the CIIS, as I see it, is something that will become the spark that will start that big fire within us into doing something for Cebu. Now, if I may go back to that is a common problem, the productivity, and I think education plays a big part. We need to educate our people about the importance of the value of work, the value of why we want to do the best for the work that we're doing, because it's not just fulfillment, it's actually self-worth. The more, the better you do at your work, the better you become a person, and the better and the more value you put into yourself. And I think that is something that somehow kind of lost, because we do have people who are hardworking, but there are also people who are just there for the work and never even think about what can I do to make this work better. Because when your company that you work for grow, you will also be benefited. It's a two-way process. Build yourself as a worker, as a skilled worker, and that will transcend into productivity, that the company will grow and the company will give back to you.
So, although later on you will be given the chance to invite more
Mhm.
people, but I think in this particular segment, we are hoping that our friends from the Department of Education would also be attending this summit. So please join.
We will invite them.
Yes.
Good thing that you mentioned that. Yes,
Commission higher education, no?
Yes,
CHED.
CHED, yes.
And the reason, Manggod, sige, it's also a vested interest, but the reason why I'm highlighting that, because it's good that we also have some, oh, she's sleeping. It's also good that we have some students on immersion, because they're senior high students now, and the advantage of having them also here, and
Yeah.
and this is where the Department of Education will be in the summit, because we believe that in terms of data analytics, in terms of technology, artificial intelligence,
Yes.
it's better that we start them young.
Yes.
Now she's awake. So, friends from the Department of Education and CHED, join.
Please join us. Yes.
Yes. Now, speaking of the manufacturing sector, because you also mentioned earlier that the good thing about this one is we have investors coming in. But I've also heard,
Wow, you heard a lot.
no, friends from the industry, because I
Okay.
also came from manufacturing before IT BPM. Now, if we look at countries like Vietnam, for example, or Thailand, for example, their manufacturing sector is somewhere 24-25%. But in the Philippines, where we should have started, we are now at like 15%.
Yes.
So what kind of manufacturing push also, or inspiration, will the summit bring, no, to improve the situation?
Right. I think let me contextualize this on the thought that there are two school of thoughts about manufacturing. There are economies that are manufacturing driven, and there are economies that are service driven. So there's two school of thoughts. The one thinks that manufacturing will really not give you the value or the worth of the society, which basically generates a high value economic output. While in the service centric economies, they think that services, the value of the service sector outweighs the value of the manufacturing. Hence, they will just opt to let manufacturing centric economies do its work, and they will just import this right? So that's basically that. Those are the two school of thoughts. But I agree with you that in saying that in the Philippines or Cebu particularly, we cannot completely discount manufacturing because not the population, not all can actually fit into the service economy. Just like in BPO, yes, we understand English. It's technically our second language as after Cebuano or Bisaya. But then again, not all are hired by the BPOs. So some of them who cannot be BPO workers
Or call
or
center.
call center, or for call centers, then because even in BPO, right,
Yes,
you
of
have a call
course.
center who requires people who can speak the language fluently, understand it at the same time, and at the same time use the computer. And you have populations who are really good in back works,
Back office.
accounting, back office, yes, accounting, design, but they're not really good with the language. So you can hire in there. So because of the divergence of the people that we have in Cebu, you cannot really completely discount manufacturing. And we see it that manufacturing is another way for to generate the employment for people who cannot be employed in the service sector. So you are right that the manufacturing is lower than the other countries, and I agree, and the question is there room, or should it still grow, or is 15% the 15%? Um, I think it could go high, it could go up, and probably 20-25% is the right number. I don't know because I haven't seen the local statistics yet, but I do see that if we have manufacturing, it can employ a wider range of employable population, and therefore become productive, and therefore help the economy.
And the reason why I also brought that up because personally, I will not have to drag the rest with me. But I also think that with the challenges and opportunities now that we are facing with technology and artificial intelligence,
Yes.
growing also the manufacturing business could provide a good balance.
Yes.
Just in case, I know this is a controversial line, just in case there will be people who will be displaced. At least they have manufacturing also as another area for them to go.
Exactly. And on a personal note, I don't completely agree that
Okay.
AI,
Okay, sige.
artificial
We'll have a debate.
intelligence.
That's kidding.
Yes, I'm ready anytime.
Yeah, okay.
That artificial intelligence will completely displace.
Not completely.
Yeah. Or for me, it actually enhances your productivity. Let's just say, for example, I was working on a system that the capital needs to use ASAP, and I only have basically a day to work on it. And I started programming. I started working on it, and I developed the process. I developed, and then I thought, and I said to myself, I could do better, and I'm sure I can use AI to help me fast track the development. So what I did is I brought in the AI, I finalized the concept, I developed it, and I put it on AI. Told AI
What to do?
what to do and how to think, because AI is a very potent tool if you know how to use it. But most of us, I'll just include myself, that when you open your chat GPT or your Gemini, whatever AI you're using, you just tell, I want to write a letter, make me one. So AI will give you a generic letter.
That's what they call cognitive offloading.
Correct.
Now, instead of using our mind,
You let the AI do the thinking, which in the first place doesn't have the intelligence that you have. So you need to put in your intelligence into the AI for the AI to be able to develop and think like you. But don't worry about the Terminator, whatever movies that you see, because that never happens. That will never happen.
So this is also another motivation for our friends from the Department of Education and CHED to join the summit.
Yes.
No, because no, in that context, I do agree with you. No, those who have the ability to work with AI will never be displaced.
Correct.
I agree with you.
Correct.
In
So,
that context.
yeah, so you have to put your mind into your thinking into AI so that the AI understands and use its algorithm the way that your mind works. And you- when I did that, when I did the development, actually I built the system in just 3 hours, full from UI development, from the process, from the database, everything, which would have normally taken 3 months at the minimum for my people that I used to work with, for my people to work. And I was like, my regrets is I should have, or there were several projects that we worked on before that I actually put onto AI, and I told AI, review everything and tell me if there's anything wrong that you identified, and let's fix it. And so AI took about 30 minutes to process it because it was a huge files. And then when it processed, it went back to me and said, these are the issues that we identified. And I know it hits the nail right on the head, because those were the bugs that I put before I give it to AI to really test if AI understands what I want it to understand. And to make the very long story short, AI, you need to learn AI, use it to your benefits. Look at AI as a tool, like
An
a hammer
assistant.
or an assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a hammer or a call taker or a scheduler. Use it so that you will be freed up from doing that, and you can do something far more better, which will bring more value, it creates more value for you.
So now, from artificial intelligence, because we have a few minutes left, this is how interesting the discussion is going now. So let's address the elephant in the room,
Yes.
which
yes.
is tourism. No? I may be jumping ahead, and just let me know, just in
Yes,
case
yes,
I
yes.
am, because the day one is baselining, no?
Yes,
as we
correct.
mentioned.
Correct.
But maybe to entice more of our viewers to join, no?
Yes.
What is exactly overall lang happening with the international tourism in Cebu?
You're putting me on the,
no,
on the
no,
spot.
no,
Okay.
but the reason I ask, because that would be more motivation also for our viewers to participate, especially the decision makers who are watching.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Let me put it in this way that tourism, actually, if you're gonna go and look back, the history, you could really see that because of tourism, Cebuanos became service oriented. And because we became service oriented, it actually opened more doors of opportunities for us. And that's why BPO is here.
Because part of the visitors were probably once part of the investors were probably once visitors.
Correct. And they know that we can speak the language well. And that is why I'm not completely concerned about other provinces, our neighboring provinces, get the BPO jobs there, because I still believe that in the Philippines, Cebuanos speaks English, and I say that boldly, that we can speak the language well, and we are actually multilingual. I mean, our dialects is even a convergence of different languages, and that is why I could definitely say that we can really speak different language, should given the opportunity to be trained. And that is also why, because we are service oriented, people have seen that because if we are good with providing the service to the tourists, we must be good for something else as well. And there are so many, BPOs came in, and even manufacturing, Japanese came here, and we welcome them, right? I mean, um, we welcome Koreans, we welcome Japanese, we become Chinese, and because of it's already innate to us that we serve well, and that is why um, when you see that the tourism is not doing well, I think everybody knows. I mean, that's the elephant in the room, right? We're not doing well in tourism.
No.
So it is what it is. We know that there are a lot of missteps or mishaps that were done by the people in charge of tourism, but it is what it is. The number speaks already. So there's no debate, right? We are one of the lowest um, tourist number, in terms of numbers recipients. We're one of the lowest in ASEAN, and while we only have a single digit million visitors, others have already enjoyed double digits, right?
And the reason also that I brought that up before we'll close.
Yes.
This is how interesting the discussion has become.
Yeah.
We're running over time, and our director is going to be mad at us. No, but you've mentioned them because we have locations like Thailand, for example,
yes.
and they're not just marketing Thailand. No, Phuket is also a popular destination
Correct.
in Thailand.
Correct.
No? So
That's
I'm
why
looking forward.
Yes,
no?
that's why we want to promote Cebu.
Yes.
Cebu as not just as investment destination, but also as a tourist destination. And that's it. Cebu is investment and tourist ready. We have the facilities. We just need to develop some of that, but we have it, and we also have the people. That's just simply it. Period.
And I would have wanted to ask Paulo about infrastructure, traffic, etc. But we'll
That's
leave that in some another episode. Another episode. But before we close, so align with our show, no? When the headlines will fade back and people will rave about the
Yes.
summit, no?
Yes.
What's the expected outcome that people will see, like in 6 months, in a year, and in 3 years
Yes.
after the summit?
Okay, very quick. Within the first 6 months, you will see projects already in the pipeline, already put in place, ready for implementation. We will have another investment summit in the next few months because we plan to do this twice a year, and we will always have what we call as a report. We will always report what has transpired from the previous summit and tell you what has been done, and that is because we want to make sure that there is a follow up, and that's what I've always been telling people that we work with, even in when we were in the private sector doing other events, that we should always ask what is the action point for this event and what have been done, and that's what we intend to do. There should always be a follow-up and a follow-through of what has been put on the table to make sure that we don't lose that opportunity.
And I heard that seats are running out, but I would still give you this floor to invite.
So, I will invite. I will send this invite directly to to the business people, to the CEOs, to the CFOs of the companies, to please join us. Register at ciisph.org. Submit your applications because we are already in the process of reviewing attendees. Because
The profile of the attendees.
yes, because unfortunately this is by invitation only. So once you submit your name,
You decide who
we
gets
will
invited.
vet and see.
Okay.
Yes, but of course there will be talks that will be published or streamed online, so that those who are not able to attend, then they can see it online. But of course, because this is just the first, so we wanted this to be as curated as possible. Later on, we will develop. Of course, we want our people to know that It doesn't mean that because you are not part of, the few who are able to attend, because we really have a limited space and it costs money.
By the way, the dates and the venue.
Yes, the venue, the dates will be January 12 to 15. It will be at Capitol Social Hall. So once again, the social hall will be transformed this time into an oasis of business opportunities and investment opportunities.
So thank you very much for guesting on the show.
You're welcome.
It looks like there's going to be succeeding parts
Yes.
in this conversation.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
okay, and thank you for sharing your insights as well as for giving us the chance to have a closer look on what the Cebu International Investment
Investment
Summit 2026 will be.
Yes.
I got the CIIS correctly this
Yes.
time. So as we wrap up today's conversation, it's clear that the Cebu International Investment Summit is not just about numbers or investment, it's also about building a vision for Cebu's future. So, Cebuanos who are watching, your voice matters. Let's work together to make Cebu stronger and more competitive. So, I'm DJ Moises. Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Headlines. We'll see you tomorrow as we continue to bring you stories that shape Cebu, the Philippines, and beyond. Good afternoon.